Just be confident, man. That's what they always say. Like, confidence is some magic pill taken once whenever you're in a pinch and everything will work out for you. But what if everything that you've been told about confidence is wrong? What if confidence is actually useless? Now, the honest truth is that confidence is useless if you do any of these 7 things. Number 1, faking who you are or what you can do. Something that confident men never do is faking things like who they are or what they are capable of in an attempt to look successful or in an attempt to project an image of themselves that doesn't really match up with who they are. An example of this is something like spending all of your money on a car that you can't really afford, or spending money on designer clothes just to make other people think that you are wealthy. So many of us want to look successful. We want to project the image that we have all of our stuff together, even if we don't, because we want other people to like us. Now, something that confident men understand is that they don't have to prove themselves to anybody, especially if it comes at the cost of trying to be somebody that they're not, or at a steep financial cost. If all you really can afford right now is a Honda Civic, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it's when you try to project an image of yourself that's not true, whether it's in terms of your finances or even your character, that is when the problems begin to pop up. Some people who never get out of the cycle of being poor end up that way because they fall into the trap of trying to keep up with a lifestyle that they can't afford because they want to make everybody think that they're confident and successful when they're just not there yet. Number 2, too scared to be judged. Many guys are too scared to do something because they fear judgment from other people, or they fear what other people will think of them. How many of us in school didn't talk to the girl that we liked because we were too scared that other people would judge us if we messed up? How many of us have things in life that we want to do that we don't do because we are too scared of what other people will think of us if we do those things? Every other day, humans judge us and they give us some angry look because we accidentally cut them off in traffic while merging onto the highway. But the difference is that confident men just don't really care, and they're not scared to be judged by other people. Many people in the world right now are living a life that they're not very proud of, or they're not living or doing as much as they know that they could be, and it's mostly because they fear what other people will think of them. How many times do we choose to not wear something that we want to wear because we're afraid of somebody judging us for it? Confident men know that other people will judge them, but they never let that hold them back from chasing their dreams, or even from the smallest thing like wearing the clothes that they want to wear. Number 3, getting permission before acting. Waiting for permission before you act can cost you many opportunities, and it's something that confident men always avoid doing. In life, there are going to be times when an opportunity presents itself, and if we don't act right then and right there, then we're going to miss out on it. Now, the very definition of confidence is plunging yourself into a situation even though you don't know what the outcome is going to be, or putting yourself out there even if you don't know how it's going to turn out. Confident men don't seek the approval or the permission of other people before they do something. Sure, there's always going to be situations where we dive in and we end up looking stupid for a minute or two, but there will always be many more times where we take a small risk like this and things actually end up working out in our favor. There are some opportunities that only come once in a lifetime, and if we don't train ourselves to act on something before asking for permission to do so, there's a good chance that we will miss out on these opportunities. And that's something that I never want you guys to miss out on. Number 4, avoiding conflict. Now, the difference between a man who is arrogant and a man who is confident is that arrogant men tend to go looking for conflict, whereas confident men handle conflict only when it's necessary. Men who are insecure or men who are not confident have trained themselves to avoid conflict at all costs. And conflict is pretty much any situation where you need to do something that has the potential to make other people angry with you. Oftentimes, if we have a problem in life, it needs to be addressed early on, because if it's not, the problem will be allowed to grow bigger and bigger, and the longer that we wait to handle conflict or problems, the worse that they will be to deal with later on. Number 5, ignoring feedback. One of the craziest things that I ever learned is that everything in life is actually a feedback loop. Some feedback loops are instant, and others can take years from the time that you do something to the time that you see the results of that thing that you did. Now, something you will notice about confident men is that they're not perfect, and they never actually try to be perfect. Only God is perfect. And a lot of times people give us constructive feedback, and if the feedback hurts, we tend to ignore it or act like it doesn't exist. But what if instead of ignoring the feedback, we considered it from the position of being humble? Many guys don't get a lot of positive interactions with females, and the easiest, most unconfident thing that any guy can do is to simply blame the females, or to blame that thing and say, well, it's their fault that they don't like me for this or for that reason. But what if it's really just something that we are doing, or the way that we are doing something that is giving us bad results? We always joke and we say that the first step to recovery is admitting the problem. But if we never admit that we suck at something, then how can we ever expect to get better at it? Something that allows men to be truly confident is taking in feedback, deciding if that feedback is useful or not useful, and then choosing to evolve ourselves or the way that we do things based on the feedback that we are receiving. So rather than ignoring the feedback entirely, we take it in, decide if it's useful, and then use it to improve ourselves. Number 6, acting like you're better than other people. Something that confident men never do is act like they are better than other people. Men who are confident are going to treat the guy who's homeless with no teeth living in a tent downtown with the same level of respect that they would treat a millionaire. A lot of guys give away their insecurities when they say awful things about other people without even knowing those people's story. People on the internet do this stuff all the time to get views and fame without truly knowing the person that they're saying bad things about. Just because somebody's a manager at McDonald's doesn't mean they need to treat all of the other employees like they are beneath them, even if technically they are in terms of the power hierarchy in that store. Confident men treat all men and all people the same until those people do something that makes them no longer deserve that level of respect. Up next, we have the 7th and final thing that if you end up doing will make confidence completely useless for you. Or the 7th thing that confident men never do, and it's dwelling on the opinions of others. Something you have to understand is that you cannot be confident if you let the things other people say to you get into your head. This channel has gotten quite a few hate comments over the last few years, most of which comes from people who are ignorant or who lack an understanding of the topics discussed. So if I were to sit here and dwell on every mean thing that somebody on the internet said to me, I would have stopped creating videos for you guys a long time ago and given up. If you want to be confident, you simply cannot be confident while dwelling on the opinions of other people at the same time. It just doesn't work like that. The truth is that a lot of people out there won't like you, and everybody has their own opinion based on so many different things that really have nothing to do with you. If you go back and you watch some of my older videos, you might think that I'm a little bit weird because of the way that I deliver my story or the way I deliver information to you. But all of us are weird in our own ways, and we have weird things that we do, or we do things in weird ways. But that's what makes us interesting. So rather than focusing or dwelling on the opinions of other people, focus on the results that you're getting instead. If one of my videos out there is considered weird by a lot of people, but it gets 10 million views and 100,000 people left a like on that video, then why should I care about the 0.1% of people who had a negative opinion about the video? At the end of the day, you have to understand that people's opinions are just that. They're simply what one person thinks of you based on how they view the world through their unique lens, or how they view the world based on the experiences that they've had and the things that have happened in their life. Sometimes these opinions are useful and constructive, but in many cases, particularly when they come from anonymous internet users, these opinions are not very useful at all. So something you never want to do is to sit and dwell on them. Confidence might seem like some sort of magical pill that you can take whenever you need things to go a certain way, but the reality is that confidence is a pretty useless thing if you are somebody who does any of these 7 things. Because all of these things simply cannot exist alongside true confidence, or the ability to plunge yourself into a situation regardless of what that outcome might be. These are 7 things that confident men never do. And until next time, thanks for watching.